Maybe our opponent is double queuing. They haven't done anything. It's been 50 seconds. I don't really want to keep this, but I think I will. This is like a modal 6 already. The rest is like okay. Ideally, we hit a 1 drop here. That's not a 1 drop. Possibly we should have mulled, but it's fine. I'm not gonna. Well, I'm gonna fetch force. You get blown out by fetching arbor there. Not gonna play around days. I think we want to wait a little bit. We're not under pressure yet. They almost likely have a bolt, so I don't want to fetch arbor. I still want to just play land drops. And just develop my board because you want to glimpse all in the same turn. I played around restricted days there because I don't want to get that. I want that resolve. Bolt. Like we're making it awkward for them here. They don't really want to bolt this. Yeah, or stomp, I guess in this case. Teamer Adventures. Or Blue Red Adventures. I'm curious about why they chose their name Slow Bros. It's got to be a force. There's no way that's resolving. Yep. I accidentally played the land first. I didn't mean to, but not the end of the world. First match of the night for me is always the shakiest because I'm not in the right mindset at the moment. Yeah, probably should have mulled, but it's fine. Yep, kind of punished here for not mulling. We would have had a better start too. They should be attacking with all. Yeah. All right, we're just dead. This is fine. Kind of kicking myself for not mulling that hand. In retrospect, given no turn one play and a virtual Moto 6 ready, probably should have. Symbiote's good. I think here it's kind of interesting, right? Like we want to protect both the Visionary and the War. So the Warwood is almost better than the Shepherd here. They want to bolt it, they can. Maybe think about submerge. They may bolt in response here, or submerge in response. I don't know what our opponent is thinking about. Like, they may daze this or force this. I'd rather them daze this than the Visionaries. That essentially represents both pressure and card advantage. Pressure in the sense that, like, pressure in the sense that they can, they can just die to a natural order anytime, right? Like, most players don't know how to play elves. That's one of the advantages of the deck. Ooh, that is actually very good. I did it that way to be mana efficient. Some opponents don't even leave in days, so. Might be a blazing volley here. That's totally fine with me. I'm actually happy to see that because that tells me they don't have a sweeper. They should really be hitting the ranger. 2 damage is not the difference at the moment. This is nice. We actually have the Archon right now. It didn't feel like they had the force, and they forced the Wirewood. I'm not playing around another force. I think this game is probably already won. Like, we're gonna Reclaimer for the pit, deal with the Pyromancer, and then just start bashing with the Archon. Okay, they're trying to go wide. Sure. There's really no point, I think, of going. Shuffle. Yep. So the main difference today is I'm running the two ley line and the force of vigor because I haven't really run into spell base combo these last 2 weeks or last week or so. From what I understand, the reason why they're not as popular is because they can't beat Delver at the moment, which has got a major boost, especially this version, blue red, in the form of expressive iteration. So Delver tends to be very good when they have a card advantage. Red and six come to mind. Dreadhorde Arcanus. Excuse me. Here I think I want this to survive, so I'm gonna leave with the druid. This is a glorified burn deck, if I must say so myself. They probably bolt our heritage druid anyways, but hard to say. Interesting. We are soft to one turn right here to rough tumble, but if they don't have it, I think we probably win. That shuffle is a good sign. Miss land drop, please. That's a good sign. I think they're trying to minimize damage and take down one reclaimer because they're gonna take 9 otherwise, and we're gonna win this race. Okay, they're trying to race us. We technically could have put them to 9 and have them on the crackback, but we the problem is then we're off. Um, oh, that was a mistake. I don't have threshold. Okay, that was bad. We could have won the. Oh, man, that not a smart play by me. Oh, I'm kicking myself. That was winnable. I just like had a brain fart there. Maybe the correct play is just to beat down and race them there. Um, Hard to say though. I just had a major brain fart is all. I completely forgot about the threshold criterion. Ah man, that first loss is on me. That was a massive punt. Massive, massive punt. Sure. Yeah, I completely forgot. For those of you tuning in right now, I like spaced out and forgot that Cabal Pit has that threshold criterion, and then that was a difference in the damage race against Delver. Here, I just want to ramp or get cards. In my days, this. Oh, that's fine. I think I'm actually kind of pseudo happy about that. I guess. We'll do better. That should have been a win. Hey Madrotha, yeah, I know you're just tuning in right now. Just very embarrassing punt on my behalf in the previous round. I had the game probably in a good spot, and I just like spaced out on the I tunnel vision into Cabal Pit, and forgot that I need threshold. think we just need a draw here. We're cut off on mana, unfortunately. Man. These are the hands against Delver that can be hard to beat, where they just don't even need to draw all their stuff. They just have all action. Yep. We have a few turns, I guess, at 8. We can take another hit next turn. Not what I want to draw. So I'm gonna Reclaimer for Cradle here. I need to not draw this like all the time. That's 5. Okay. It's kind of strange to see both of these in the same deck. Usually they're not together, but sure. It's funny too because my record against like Delver players who are more conservative tends to be better against the ones that kind of like go all in on certain things, and it's because they don't play around certain things that maybe I'm playing around or feigning. We need the draw. I think we're probably gonna lose this game 1 here. Like they just had every a little too much disruption here, unfortunately. 2 removal spells and a force on the thing I did. Our hand was fine, but they had double wasteland too. So essentially for 4 removal spells, right? 5 becomes the force. Like we're getting classic Delver here, even though they don't have a Delver. Like we're gonna have to chump the Goyf. I'm not sure there's a live top deck here. I don't think there is. It's just unfortunate we got hit with the ooze, not the ooze, the wasteland a little too hard. Down to 3. I can't visionary here, so it has to be the other reclaimer. And then we trade with the. We're not trade. We chump the Goyf, but we buy ourselves another turn. Alright. If they were gonna do that, they should have done brainstorm in response to the reclaim on the stack. Then they can like force or daze it, right? Like then they have lethal. Yeah. All right. For those of you who are tuning in, I'm making it 3 nights in a row now. I'm streaming. It's like it broke my previous personal record from yesterday of 2 nights in a row. They honestly should be attacking with the Pyromancer. Like, being at one life means fetches are cut off, which is like very relevant. Now it's over. Well, we'll see. They have been very conservative in their attacks, like randomly. Had they attacked the previous turn, right, we'd just be dead here. They just a swing out. We're still actually just dead here, but yeah, if they know what to do. Um, for those of you who have asked, I know it's like a common topic within elves, or another question I get a lot is, oh, how come you don't play what about the fourth natural order? It's games like that where it's like back breaking because you don't want to have two. We just had like too clunky of a hand. Excuse me. But yeah, I hopefully we can get this one. Man. At least these represent creatures. The K is like real good, I guess. Like we'll just start fetching creatures and then we're not like that's why the second arbor is so good because situations like this you actually really want to keep this hand. Might be a Goyf, might be a Pyromancer. I don't think it would be Goyf because I would expect my opponent to board out Goyf in this matchup, as it's not very good. Pyromancer's a lot better. I think well, I kind of want to just check our draws here. Uh, I th- I I want this on the board as soon as possible, especially with it being a 3-4 already. We'll see if our opponent walks into the reclaimer with the bolt. I don't think I'm too afraid of one or two tokens. Like I'd rather have this on board. Sure. Man, if they had that plus the bolt, that's kind of brutal. Nope, luckily they don't. Hey, decent. How's it going, man? I punted round one. We're down a game here, round two. I kept a hand with Natural Order and Archon, but the other cards were fine. And then for the second match in a row, we got punished. Um, I think we just kill this right now instead of letting this have too many creatures. We'll just sit back. We're not. This is not like I don't know when you tuned in or when people in chat tuned in, but we had a decision to make between decaying the Power Mans of the previous turn or playing the Reclaimer and having that up. Like this is just way higher priority, in my opinion. Fork Bolt. The hands from Delver that are hard to beat is just when they don't have to cancel for anything. They just have all business. Sure. I think we're still ahead here, but it's hard to say. Oh my goodness. So it's gonna be my luck, right? If we lose this match and then go 0-2 tonight against Delver, after I just talked about going 4-0 the other night against Delver. It is like I think Adam Walls was telling me like this card is very helps him help him hit mythic in historic with Sprite Dragon. This so it's kind of the same thing, right? Like you port that to Legacy. Um, this player is not running Sprite Dragon, but it's kind of the same concept. You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That is not very wise. We might just be too far behind from card advantage standpoint, but um, like I don't think our opponent's even playing that well, but they just drew really well. Like that wasteland was not very good there, in my opinion. Looks like a whale is coming. Yeah, for me, yep. That's the frustrating part sometimes. Like you feel like your opponent misplayed, and you're gonna lose anyways because it's, this match has been a little out of our hands. Like, what is going on here? Like, why would they have two? Like, unless they're playing around the removal, that doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, they didn't even. It's not like there's not enough targets. So I don't understand what's going on here. I don't think we can. Well, we might as well play it. Yeah, that's fair, Madrota. Like, if I punt, like, I don't mind. Like, I just get mad at myself. Like, I beat myself up probably a little too much for that. But like, I've definitely had situations where I feel like our opponent doesn't play optimally or like far from it, and then you lose anyway because um, you know, variance happens. Like this is like kind of out of our hands. I don't think there was anything I could have done differently. Like we couldn't have really played around Blazing Volley this game. Sure, they should be getting. They might get the X. Sure. My getting upset salty is usually to variance. All right, so they had that too. Yeah. Um, I did. I did say at the beginning of the stream, I'm the most vulnerable when I first start off the league, or maybe not necessarily the first match of the night, and and they got me when I was vulnerable here. I typically play. I typically play better as I get more into the groove, so to speak, and I don't think there's anything we could have done in this matchup. I don't mind the bad matchups, uh, but like our opponent is like 1-3 at the moment too, and just happen to be drawing really well against us for whatever reason. Um, okay, I punted that, but I don't think it matters. Yeah. I mean, I'd much rather face against lands than reanimator. Actually, well, that's it depends, right? Um, if we're talking about just matchup wise, I think lands is actually a little bit better than reanimator. Like, especially if you don't have something like leyline in the sideboard. But the lands matchup is miserable because at least reanimator is fast death. Well, you would assume, right? The person who's playing Bristlebrand knows what they're doing. Yeah, like I said, we punted. That's fair, Madrota. That was pretty miserable. That's what I mean, though. Lance is miserable from a playing point, but I did change my sideboard today to have two Leyline of the Void and one Force of Vigor. So we'll see how that goes. Um, this is a toss away. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop. There's no point of me trying to, salvage a two here and win three in a row. Might as well start leave fresh. Um, and then I'm gonna take a quick break, and then I'll be back in, let's just say, 2 minutes. Yeah, the Tabernacle triggers are just miserable. It's actually not too bad. Sidonora. Sorry, I corrected myself mid sentence there. From what I understand, Food Chain is like one of the worst decks to play online because you it has the most triggers and going infinite is pretty miserable from what I understand. I wanted to play familiars and Popper, and one of the reasons why I didn't was because there's a lot of looping. Looping in that deck is pretty miserable too. I'm gonna go ahead and just catch up on chat real quick. We'll just load this as I'm rereading some of the chat. Um, yeah, let's just throw away. We got a fresh start now. You know, we'll ignore the last two matches and see if we can, have a fresh restart, so to speak. I appreciate that, side of Norna. But yeah, I think round two there, their draws were just good, and we just did not draw very well. At least didn't line up against their draws. And then round one, I punted game three, and I don't know how many people saw it at the time, but long story short is I just like brain farted, as tends to happen on my first match of the night. Um, Thanks for the follow, Fabman650. And I forgot about the threshold clause with Cabal Pit, and I lost the Devil Race that way. Dr. Brian Pepper, nice. I don't believe Sneak and Sun is the worst elf matchup. I personally believe Belcher is the worst elf matchup, but that's like not super common. If you're talking about just common decks, I think Doomsday tends to be kind of hard. Thank you, Fabman. Appreciate it. Yeah, Shepard made the show and tell matchup a lot better because if they have the slow hand, you can just like aggro them out. Here they're on Eldrazi. I'm foreseeing a turn two Thought Knot. Could be a chalice, but that's kind of on the slower hand. Usually, to be fair, Madrota, like Cabal Pit is usually fine. It's a little slower, but like you need it, especially if we're running run of foul. So like ways to deal with Young Pyromancer. It's gotta be Thought Knot. No, actually that's three. Ooh, interesting. So they're on like Eldrazi post, I believe, based on that start. Here I think we just play everything out. They have three. I mean, they could have all this dust, but I don't think I'm playing around it. Like we have the kill next turn, and might as well go for it. It's 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they could have all this dust and we just lose, but I don't think I'm playing around that right here. Oh my god, it is. It's just one of those nights, I think. Like I don't believe. Ugh, that's pretty bad too, given our hand. It's a. It's okay, decent. Like it's just maybe it's just one of those nights here. Like we drew the card we want a natural order into too, which is the really annoying part. This is the reason why I typically don't like going slow against Eldrazi. I think just play bombs like this. This might be a lost cause, to be honest. I did, because uh, I cut the. I'm trying the ley line again right now. The nice thing is, at least ooze is pretty good here. Argument to be made that we don't fetch arbor, but I think it's fine. I think we're just dead. I don't think there's a sequence of outs here that we win. Just not our night so far. In general, you want to eat the non-lands first for reclaimer reasons. um, I think we just pass here. There's no real reason to play out the ranger. This matchup is like almost a straight race. Sure. Our opponent probably should have just tapped down our ooze the previous turn. I'm not sure why they didn't. Or that would draw a card. Pinging is like one of the least relevant modes for that board state, I should say. Obviously, it's good against my one drops. What is going on? 7 mana? Oh. Alright, we're just dead. We we can't possibly beat whatever they're getting. Things have been off the rails since we started 5-0 last night. We lost the last 3, and now we're about to lose 3 in a row here. We want Progenitus because Endbringer deals with Archon like very cleanly. They likely have Walking Ballista, so I think that's it. All balances. I agree, it does. To be fair, probably one of the best moments last night was when we came back from probably being like a 5%er to get the 5-0. And then the other thing that was memorable from last night was when we stole game 1 against Esperval. They, for those who weren't there or don't remember, we had a Gilded Drake and an Archon in play, and they were at 6 life, so we needed both to connect. They had just paid the companion tax for Urian and upped their vial to 5, and they were planning to vial Urian in during combat to block essentially. And they had like Recruiter and like Plague Engineer. Recruiter, Plague Engineer, like a bunch of other stuff on their board out. But we had a Green Sun in hand, and we Green Sun for 2. They didn't respond to it, which was their mistake. Or I guess they didn't expect it, but we got the oof and shut off Vial for 1 turn to get lethal. So that was pretty sweet. Yeah. It's the Esperval with Drake's. It's pretty. It's the JTL special. I don't think we want any of the other stuff, so I'm fine with this. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. One of the persons in chat was like, "Oh, you just buried them essentially." Yeah, this is like real good. This ace in the hole. We're drawing it right now, so can't be mad about our sideboard, not sideboarding, deck building process so far. Let me see. What turn did they cast all its dust? They cast it turn three against us, which is we knew it was a possibility, but I don't know how many they're running. It's like usually a one of. And granted, like, well, I'm gonna fetch first. Too thin. I don't remember if this version plays Wasteland. I feel like they don't, but I could be wrong. Ratchet Bomb. Uh, Man, this is like really awkward. I could do it now and then, but I don't think I want to. That's real good. So the nice thing here is I'm gonna keep mentioning this line that comes up a lot. When you have Reclaimer plus Cradle on turn two, you can play a one drop and actually still ramp um, without exposing yourself to a sweeper because, or if you want to hold something for Glimpse, you can actually pitch the land you play turn one for the Arbor, and that actually ramps you and actually turns Reclaimer into a fertile ground, right? Um, it's like super relevant, and I feel like a lot of players who try to pick up this version of the deck aren't aware of that line. For instance, I'm not gonna name names, only because I don't want to embarrass anybody, but a good friend of mine, who's a longtime elf player that's really respected in our community, uh, he wasn't aware of that line. Granted, he plays usually the Nettle version, but that's something that you need to be aware of. And if you're not aware of those little tricks with Reclaimer, the card loses a lot of value, right? Because you don't have access to the full power level of the card. Yeah, they definitely don't have Wasteland if they're playing Clapos, which is what I assumed. That screams Warping Whale, but I am not sure we can play around that. So decent. I take it you weren't as it comes up a pretty good amount when you need to set up for the following turn, but a lot of people aren't aware of this line, and it's like huge actually from a mana perspective. Uh, that's fine. That tells me they probably don't have Warping Whale. Yeah, it's not something you. It's something you definitely want to have in your back pocket. Sure. Because it usually comes up against combo or control. Typically not against tempo because you don't really want to like get blown out against like wasteland or like removal on the spot, things like that. But it comes up a lot against combo and control. the fetch arbor with reclaimer off a cradle line. Reclaimer being able to recycle all your useless lands in the late game is like a huge draw to this deck or this card because Reclaimer is your mid-range threat that actually doesn't screw up your glimpse and natural returns, right? Because it's the up. What makes it unique is unlike Knight of the Reliquary, the upfront cost is only one, not three. Don't get me wrong, Knight is a very strong card, but there's a higher upfront cost. This is like the Knight is like the boomer card, right? You pay upfront. This is like the zoomer card. You have installments. The back end cost is what stinks. Yeah, for sure. That's annoying. So I think they smell natural order coming, and they're just like doing what they can to keep us off of it, which they should. We need a land here. Oh, that's a pretty bad draw. The good thing is we can pitch the hoof. I don't think we're casting in this game. Sure. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Yeah, I don't believe we're casting hoof this game, so I'm just gonna pitch it right here. So they don't do anything like obscene against us. We actually have the natural order here. I don't. The the greedy play here would be to visionary first because if you draw your progenitus, that is that is not something that I think is acceptable in my opinion. You don't want to give them a free draw here. Yeah, we just fade one top. Okay, we got it. Well, in theory, well, technically speaking, they can still hardcast all it does here. Okay, well, shutting out Tomb is big, but they still have enough mana to cast all his dust because of tempo. Now I think it's over. Nope, not gonna block. Actually, the correct move there is actually block with Visioner in case they all his dust. But they would have all dust main phase to be fair. Yeah, this is doing work, right? Like we drew a hoof, but luckily we drew the right fatty. We wanted this in the deck still. I love that Force of Vigor. Can reward us for drawing unwanted cards here. I think we just run it back. All right, maybe we can get off to the right start now. Like this is a redemption league. Not great, but I think we keep. I think against these chalice decks, there's one card you want, and that's natural order. It's not even. It's not even. What's the word I'm looking for? Shepherd. A lot of times natural order just does. You just win anyways. Like the good thing is they played City turn one, which means they probably kept a Grim Monolith hand, or yeah, or they just lose their land, right? Like that's fine. They probably, if they are heads up here, they take the Green Sun. Yeah. Um, I'm not gonna fetch here. Ugh, and I should have. That's being results oriented though, right? Like the reason not to fetch here is because I get really punished if they go another soul land into Ballista. But maybe that's playing too safe. Hey Wombo Combo. Congrats on the 4-0, man. I think on this board say I'm okay doing it. Yo Levi, how's it going? So Levi, I was watching earlier, playing a fellow green deck in modern Amulet Titan. I don't think we care about that. We'll block next time if they attack. The good thing is there's nothing to take here. Oh, sorry to hear that, Levi. Yeah, yeah. The modern natural order is primeval titan. It just happens to be a creature. Ouch, ouch. Yeah, I wasn't going initially to going to play stream tonight, but I figured nothing's holding me back, so might as well go for the third night in a row. Elves in all formats, right? Uh, wait, what did I miss? Oh, never mind. I didn't miss anything. They just had the life gain trigger. Hoof. Nope. All right. Here, if they double attack, we have no choice but to triple block. Searching your library for creatures that lands in all form. Yeah, pretty much. Like definitely creatures. I mean, sorry. Yeah, and yeah. If they have the removal spell, like we're dead anyways. We're just too far behind. We need a draw here. Not the card we want. So the thing is, maybe the mistake I made tonight was playing alongside the prelim because what happens is all the competitive decks or the meta decks end up in the prelim, and then you face stuff that is not as common. Yeah, we're just dead. Sad times. Sad times. It's a rough night for us so far, but like, yeah. So that's part of the thing, Levi. The reason why I don't enjoy prelims, at least at the moment, I played them more before. I mean, I wouldn't mind playing against Ant. Like, it's I actually enjoy that matchup from this. Like, I think game one is obviously just a race, but I think there's a lot of technical play in the games two and three. Unlike Test, like there's a lot of patience that can be required. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, prelims. I used to enjoy playing them more, but then I don't play them now for two reasons. And both of them kind of new. Well, I guess the second one not as new. The EV for prelims is pretty bad now, and Ari Zachs chronicled this in his Twitter post a while back. The second reason why I don't play prelims anymore on Tuesday nights, which would be the night I would play because I'm on the West Coast, is because in between rounds it's just like really awkward. Right? You just end up sitting around for a while, and I'm not really short on qualifier points because I typically only play big legacy events anyways, just because of schedule and whatnot. But yeah, I don't like the wasted downtime is the problem. I know, Levi. I enjoyed that last time we were streaming. The only thing though is like, um, I'm not. I'm terrible at multitasking. So I would not feel comfortable to double queue in between, and not to mention I don't want dealing with the extra stress. I don't like the anxiety that comes with it, so to speak. I think given that we drew the glimpse, it's okay to green sun here. Otherwise, I'd be tempted to actually just play the shepherd and save the what is it called? Save the green sun because we're a little light on threats. Yeah, stream. Well, yeah, yeah. I streaming and multi and double queuing is probably very difficult too. And I, I think I would enjoy streaming more than I would just actually just trying to pass the time with double queuing. Like that just seems more like a chore, at least for me, than a plus, right? In this instance. So here, like we got rewarded for keeping the. Well, actually, I was gonna say we would have got rewarded for holding the green sun, but now we keep the glimpse. They should be taking the natural order. Yeah, that's seems like a no-brainer there. I smell combo deck based on their land configuration, like Ant or something. We don't have a time to wait, unfortunately, so we gotta go now. That's a hell of a draw. It's it's kind of why I like this return back to three birch lords because like your glimpses are just so much better now. Ooh, that I wish that was one turn early. I mean, one draw earlier would have been good. So all of this is kind of mindless, unfortunately. Yeah, Kyoto Ranger would have been good there too. Problem is, what would have been replaced, right? All right. I think we just hope we get an untap here. I smell combo, but we're that's the most we can do. Yeah, but yeah, that's fair. I mean, it could have been good. You get an extra draw, and then you draw into the heritage, right? Although to be fair, right, then we would play what Queer Ranger over the Birchwood, go back to the old list. That's possible, I guess. I smell like we're dead here, but we'll see. I'll bring for the old. Actually, for reference, I'm gonna go ahead and bring back the old list that we did real well with, and just chose not to play. Oops, not yet. So this is the list I went 42 and 8 with, and it looks a lot like the list we have right now. The difference is It had Quirion Rangers instead of the fourth Heritage, instead of the third Bursar Rangers, instead of the crop rotation. I think they. Okay, they're just dead then. Yeah, I mean, I know one of the issues Elves, Madrotha, that Elves is facing from a legacy perspective, at least in paper, is Gaia's Cradle is a ton of money, and unfortunately, really only goes in this deck. I mean, Maverick plays like one, but for the most part, it only applies to this deck. I believe based on okay, so I think they're on Ant or Doomsday. Uh, I feel like if they were on Doomsday, they would have had like potentially interaction. I'm gonna hedge against Ant because they. You're right. I think Ant or Doomsday. I think Ant though because of their mana base. I saw Misty, which is in Doomsday as well, but is known to be an Ant for sure. Like that's a guarantee. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. Like it's fine. We're up a game already. Not to mention the cards that we have are more relevant against Ant as well. There, there's there's a reason for that, Madrotha. I know the reason why they do that is because the Cyrus has talked about this. It's because especially when Hex Mage first was a thing, there was like Into the North, and the Snow Swamp meant that they could be on the Into the North build of Turbo Depths. So they didn't want to. Yeah, pretty much. Like they wanted to play the Snow Swamp to feign being potentially on depth because you can go turn one duress, and that could be the Into the North. And I know he or somebody else that I've talked to in the past have said that they've benefited off of that. It's like somewhat related to like D&T players or Moon Stompy players playing a split of snow or regular basics for predict reasons. I think we keep this. Any land, and this hand is just incredible. Red suggests Doomsday. I'm sorry, not Doomsday. Ant as well. Usually the ant. It's not an ant. Sorry. The Doomsday lists are don't want red in the beginning, if at all. That just. So this actually helps the hand a lot too because now we have more. In the case we don't draw a land here, we can still seize on turn two. I kept it because essentially it's graveyard interaction and oof potentially on turn two. All right. Let's see what they have, or let's see what they take. They might just take this. Seize is real good too. Like it's definitely one or the other. So the reason for 19 lands is because I moved the bog to the sideboard. Um, David, I don't really consider bog a real land because it doesn't produce green. Uh, so I don't consider us moving the bog really weakening the mana base because that's more of a spell. So the reason why bog I moved it for now at least back to the sideboard is because it's a lot worse against Delver than it used to be. And that's because the transition, right? Or not transition, the band of Dreadhorde Arcanist, like their threats now don't really are not really weak to bog. Like the whale potentially is affected by bog, but you're just guessing at that point, right? All right, we are vulnerable for one turn because we didn't draw the second land here. Right. You can't really like you can't stop the whale from being cast, and it's like super awkward to preemptively bog, and they actually don't have it. So I actually don't keep in bog against Delver anymore. Where it used to be kind of insane against Dreadhorde, and it pains me too because I actually really like the main deck bog. I just don't think it's very good at the moment. Uh, all right, so if we get Cradle, that's 4, 5, 6 mana. The next turn, I think we want. Well, let me see. We're just short, unfortunately. But I think we. Green Sun here for 1. And get a Heritage Druid. Yeah, I dread Hoarder. Arcanus was not a fun card. Interesting. No, well, we can't pay for it, so no. We may get punished right there for tapping out, but we'll see. Was not playing around the fluster, which is like decent in the matchup, not great because of Shepherd. Um, like now we don't have Bog activation up. I went for that line because it was one more mana the following turn, but I think that might have been greedy in hindsight. Like I forgot about Flusterstorm, which tells me that they're on Ant. You don't really see that out of Doomsday. Yeah, now we might just get punished. They got an extra 4 mana out of it because we because of what happened. Yeah, that that was our fault. It was preventable, I think. Well, actually, they still could have ad nauseum us, but this is guaranteed. So we could have we didn't play around the Flusterstorm and got punished. In hindsight, yeah, maybe we just leave the mana up and close. Yeah, we could have played around it, and then we would have. They would have gone for the ad nauseum line, so we might have been dead regardless. But that made it deterministic. Because we could have shut down the. You think it was correct to go for the green sun there? It's possible. We're kind of in the same scenario here, right? Like, but I think the upside of green sun for oof here is too high. And here we got rewarded. Yeah, it's like iffy for them to bring in Fluster. Like they know we have 3 to 4 Shepherd, and most lists have 4. So it's possible that they just have nothing else to bring in and just try to we got is all. Cause the line there for me was get the Heritage Druid, and then we just had like a whole bunch of random wins, like a whole bunch of live draws, because we were a little short on Archon mana still. We were 2 turns away. Sure. Hmm. I think I like this. We're gonna have 4 mana up, and then get to hold up Bog activation plus, or sorry, hold up Reclaimer activation plus Once Upon a Time. Yeah, they could get our discard spells. That's fair, but like, then they just, and if we don't do that, then they set themselves back on mana, right? There's only 4 discard spells in our deck, and most lists have anywhere from 4 to like 6, generally speaking, and most is 4 to be honest, because discard 5 and 6 tend to be a little higher variance, like therapy or duress. I don't even think IOK is playable because it doesn't take force. Here, that's fair. Cited Norna. So I think here we once for well actually we thin. Yeah, thinning is probably better first. Get the cradle, and then we once and then bot. Ugh, that is pretty ugly. Okay, we just drew the nuts here. This is what I'm saying. Like this kind of played out how I wanted game two to play out, where we just get the cradle mana, and then any live top deck, like either this or Green Sun becomes lethal. This is a very silly card. I agree. Like it's a little built around the sense that like you actually have to have things already on board. Like this is not the card that you want to draw if both sides have no board and both sides are top decking. But if you have any kind of board presence, then it becomes insane. All right. With that said, I'm gonna take a quick restroom break, and I'll be back in 60 seconds. Alright, I am back. I'll talk about the list real quick. Most of these cards I've been playing for the past week now. I know there are some controversial cards, namely, or some quantities, I should say, that are controversial. Namely, this being a three of. I know some people like four natural order. I think the way I build elves is I want to reduce the amount of clunkiness as possible because I think any game that goes long, you're probably gonna win. And I mean, there's obviously exceptions to that rule. Like I don't want Eric's playing again. I don't want to get into a grindy matchup uh, against what is it called? I don't want to get into a grindy matchup against lands, for instance. But in general, I think we feel favored the longer the game goes. I don't think Eric is on Reanimator anymore, for what it's worth. I ran into Eric, so I think he's been playing, but I ran into Eric like a week or so ago. I don't remember when it was, but they were playing Delver, so for whatever that's worth. I think he's doing his PhD right now in Portland, but I could be wrong. Yeah, so they are not on Reanimator. I think he's on Blue Red Delver. I mean, you can play Delver. I mean, I own the deck on paper too, so like, for whatever that's worth. I'm playing around the days here. uh, sure. Nice. My boy Jonathan is here, so we got to, remind everybody that force of negation is unfair and it's completely ruined modern. Sure. I think yeah, Eric didn't want this game to just get out of control there. That's why the force on the heritage. I think I'm like perfectly happy with that. I mean, all right. This is an interesting decision here because we get punished for the greedy line of glimpse into visionary. I think we played safe. Thank you for the follow, Eric. Or I guess yeah, we get punished with that line too, right? You save the bullet for a turn. It's possible, yeah. Like I could have just played fetch and pass too. That's like perfectly reasonable. In fact, in hindsight, maybe that's the correct play, given the hand. Yeah, I Jonathan's now the new master. I think that's correct, better than the line I took. If I had thought about it a little bit more, I would probably redo it. The good thing is like they don't have any pressure, and we're probably still pretty ahead here. We just oh that's like an absolutely nuts draw. Look, I can't. This is like a +2, right? Yeah, they did. I think here he just tapped out, so I'm just gonna go for visionary. I think the game is over actually now. Yeah, given the fact that they actually hold on, let me see how I want to do this here. Yeah, now it's really over. It was already over when the glimpse resolved. Just might as well, right? Pretty much, Eric. Yeah, I think game one is real hard for our opponent as long as we don't have the clunky draw. And luckily, the hoof came much later. Um, but it's tough because we know there's no sweepers. Like there's like fork bolt, but that's not really something can play around. Delver does play some preordained, Jonathan. I was telling Chad earlier that this is almost like a fork in the road for me, pun not intended, as far as streaming is concerned. It's the third day in a row that I've streamed now, and we're gonna see this bad boy get put to use. I know Eric is known for playing Reanimator, but little known fact, he's actually a very good Delver player as well. So I think Chat might be in for a fun match at least from a skill level, skill perspective. Sorry. I'm just like double checking. I don't have anything I don't want to run here. Nice, John. Yeah, I like both Eric and Cyrus as well. I don't know Eric as much, but Cyrus I interacted with and met in person, and he's a great guy. For those who know Eddie Zamora, that's how I know Cyrus. Yeah, I know, right? It's complete poggers right here, right? With the run of foul. If we don't draw a land here, we're gonna green sun. The reason being is we need to really develop our mana. I'm afraid of the bolt or the days, which there's a reasonable chance that they have some interaction. Yeah, there we go. But I mean, it's not really anything we can do about it. What we need here. Did they miss? Yeah, they missed their attack. Um, we're just gonna run the heritage route. It's kind of bad here. We want the removal spells to stick. So if they want to like daze, they can daze the heritage druid or bolt it. We gotta draw land soon though. That's the only kicker that helps. I don't even think Euro's seeing much play right now, Eric. I think here we want to be mana efficient, so I'm gonna go ahead and just play this. Sure, that's fine. The fact that they forced it tells me that they don't have another threat. Yeah, so I think Eric, the best deck right now, in my opinion, or at least the most popular deck, is Delver and Cage is fine. And Delver's keeping all the combo decks in check. Control hasn't really been that seen in my opinion. Like Bant Miracles is a thing, and that's probably the best shelf for Earl. But besides that, I haven't seen Earl that much. Um, while they're tapped out, I might as well just do this. They can play Giant the next turn, but then I don't want it to get Flusterstorm or something based on their draw. Oh, they're on Rug. Interesting. Like Cages is kind of annoying right now. Yeah, I went down to zero natural orders. Jonathan. Colossus sees play in the Delver sideboards, but I think the blue-red version is the best at the moment. Hmm. I think we're priced into chumping now because I don't want to be in lightning bolt range. Been super high on library. Uh, yeah, that's like a more grindy version of the build. I think most lists have or do run Colossus in the sideboard. And it's to beat the control matchups. Yeah, exactly. It's good against Snow because they can't get Euro online. So Delver gets to play more Delver. Like, uh, actually, I might have a cool line come up. Yep. Dang, Jonathan, you're just a natural at this now. I think I want to pitch this. What I should have done first, actually. Well, yeah, I was because I'm gonna block regardless. I should have declared blocks and see if this resolves, and then go for the crowd rotation line. Because now they can just bolt this, right? Is the problem? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, so he's just keeping us off mana here. We'd like to see decay soon, though. Jonathan is expert drafter for those who don't know. I think here we just go to 6. It is what it is. Oh, we just cannot keep drawing more lands. Do you cycle a 1 mana elf? Uh, Given this board state, probably not. Unless we're behind. Because they don't have a threat here, right? If they had a threat, you definitely cycle. But because they don't, I'm not going to. Brazen Bar. Oh, okay. That's a little scary that they did that. I know, right? I heard jokes today about this card has been in standard forever now. Okay, now we have to go. We have no choice now. Yikes. Might be a daze here. The awkward part is we have the answer, but then we can't play it because we have no fetchables. Yeah, I mean we were dead regardless. I think that actually the right play there is just not to find anything because we don't want to reveal that we only have 4 fetchables in the deck. We can't because of cage. So we're just dead, yeah. Yeah, I think the correct play there is to just pretend to whiff off the thing because we don't want to reveal information. We only have 4 fetchables if a cage is in play. We flooded a little bit, but it is what it is. The nice thing is, like with crowd rotation or reclaimer, if you get into that scenario, you can actually fetch away dead fetches. Well, that's kind of hard tongue twister for like bog and things like that. I think this is fine. I'm gonna Once Upon a Time first here. Visionary's real good. I'm gonna turn off my decay for the time being because I think it's more important to develop this early game. Sure. We're not playing around. There's no days, so it's that or force. I don't think they're gonna force that. They're already down a card too, so like forcing there is like real bad for them. And then we're gonna have this Waterwood coming down, which is pretty nice. We bash first. And then we replay. Make sure to tap the mana first before bouncing. I see a lot of new elf players make that mistake a lot. Smell snare? Jeez, okay. If they didn't have the snare, they would have had to force the symbiote. The good thing is we have like double removal in our hand. And the Once Upon a Time is like very good here. That's real good. Nice. We're not attacking here. There's like no need. It's very awkward force of will draw for them. If they want to waste us here, they probably waste the cradle. I don't care about you leaving crop up to protect it because we have the second. They're, if they have a fetch here, they fetch away the force now because this is not getting answered, I guess, so to speak. I think the one thing we're scared of here is like sweepers. Okay, that's kind of nutty. We're not under a ton of pressure yet, so we have Shepard out. They're not gonna. No, we just draw a bunch. It definitely is, yeah. I should have actually cropped there, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, I could have. I went through it too quickly. Yeah, Shepard with crop is kind of obscene. We actually get punished here now, I think. I feel like they might have a blazing volley or something. I don't think we bounce anything here. That's actually a relief because they don't have another sweeper. I think they're on blue red with splashing for green. That is also a nutty draw. Actually, let's do this right. Now the game is over. We shut off 3 of our cards, but I don't think we care. Yeah, he's making a comeback. I don't suspect. I don't expect him to keep in Euro. Good thing we used the thing there, yeah. Oh, this is too savage. Yeah, I know he needs it. Well, the thing is, runabout doesn't even work because I'm naming instant, right? I know, man. I'm being a bully here, especially since he's coming out of retirement. I tend to. One of my pitfalls is when I'm ahead, I'm a little sloppy. All right, Eric. Thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate the follow earlier, and definitely had some fun. Yeah, I'm glad to see Eric back. I know he's friends with Eddie's more one of my other good friends in Portland. Optimusky. Yeah, there's Eric's everywhere, right? Eric Virgo in chat. Eric landed in what's it called on stream playing against me. Yes, drinking a lot of water. It's the only way I stay hydrated for the stream, right? Yeah, we are coming back. We just won. What is it? Two in a row after the really sluggish start. It's my favorite turn one play. Uh, man, it is tempting. I feel like we take the Shepherd, but I'm like very tempted to take the Heritage Druid too. Okay, take care, Jonathan. One more time for you. Oh, it's DNT. All right, I should have taken the Heritage Druid, but I don't think it's gonna matter. We're the old ancestral recall on turn two. Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is like I typically prioritize mana, which I know some people don't, but we already have the Burst Lore, and that's I think if it Heritage is just so clunky of a card too. Yeah, I know. If Josh were here, he would joke, "Oh, I got the buy this round." I mean, he wouldn't be far off, to be honest. I have lost the DNT. Anybody who says it's unlosable is what is the word I'm looking for? Hasn't played enough matches, so to speak, with the deck. But what was I gonna say? Typically, there's three ways to lose to DNT from my experience. Number one, you have a slow hand, and they just have a fast GT that connects. That's probably the most common way to lose. Number two, what am I getting? A cradle. That's right. What am I doing? You get wastelanded out of the game. Okay, they're just dead here. Number three, um, you overconfidence. I've seen Elves players, myself probably included, who get overconfident and then just lose because you play very loose and very sloppy, and don't respect the other player enough. All right, take care, Decent. I think Elves is really good at the moment, for a couple of reasons. Uh, I think combo is kind of on the decline from what I've seen, and traditionally speaking, that tends to be your hardest matchup. Uh, Unfortunately, that makes lands a little more popular too because they have a bad combo matchup, probably even worse than elves, and that's probably a little bit hard. So you maybe need more hate for lands, but the other thing is Plague Engineer is kind of down, and that's why you've seen a lot of Nettle builds, for instance, do really well because they don't have to deal with Plague Engineer, which typically KOs them. Am I missing anything? I think though Elves players will need to adjust a little bit against the blue red versions. Even out of DNT, out of DNT, they would have to naturally draw it, right? Because if they're tutoring for it with a I think you want that. If they're tutoring for it with a recruiter, I think that's a little slow, personally. Shepard actually not at its best in this matchup, going down to one. Cabal Pit's real good. I don't even think we just cut the last Shepard. I don't think it's great in this matchup. Yes. So the blue red Delver lists have been playing two Forkbolt, and it's gotten me. It can get you. Typically speaking, though, if depending on the hand, you can power through it. But that's one way for them to steal game one. Excuse me. The reason why I boarded in the single Force of Vigor, which is like real iffy in this matchup, it's like a lot of times you don't need it, is because I think I just take the Heritage Druid. We're just going for speed. We still have the crop if need be. Yeah, it's main deck. The reason being is because with Dreadhorde banned, they can actually run 2 mana, 2 damage removal now. Um, it was unplayable when not Death Right, Dreadhorde was banned. Sorry, with legal. So they port us here. We are just gonna play the Birchthorn Pass, and then if they wasteland, we just blow them out. Of like a blow of like epic proportions. Okay, here's a port coming. Sure. We need, and I stress this deeply. We need to protect the Bayou here. All right, it's coming. Let's get ready for the crowd rotation blowout. I am sorry to have to do this to you. We're getting a cradle because that forces them to port and not play a spell. Also, a sign of incoming disaster, so to speak, is if your opponent ports on upkeep and the elf player has a crop rotation in response, the other player is likely not getting another turn. From my experience, being on that side of it, sure. Wish I had it once upon a time, but can't have it all. Land would be great here. So the thing here is like we unlock our cradle by Green Sun for an oof. Interesting. What is maybe a revoker? Yep. I think we need the mana, so I'm just gonna go ahead and Green Sun for Arbor. Kind of surprised they waited on the heritage on the stack to revoke her there. That's a little risky in my opinion. I think if you have a target for revoke in general, it's correct to go ahead and do. Hopefully they don't. Oh man, they have a second wasteland. All right. So they may port us on upkeep here, and then I'd be like tempted to get a cradle, but I don't think it is necessary. We have four. Well, actually, we don't with the heritage druid, but we potentially could have natural ordered. They may hit the reclaimer. Yeah, that's a swords. I was thinking swords, but I'm almost happy by this. Like they gave us another land, right? We just have natural order now. Like we don't think we mess around here, and I think we just do it now. We're not playing around the Council's Judgment. Like we're a lot constrained on mana, so you just go for the KO. If they have it, so be it. You know a lot about a person's list if they can see early, because that means they have no outs. Yes, Madro. That this is like a definite Wambo combo moment right there. So rough starts to tonight, but now we're building up some momentum, right? Hey, Demosian, how's it going, man? Or woman? I don't want to assume. I'm gonna get some water while that queues up. So I a good friend of mine that I've coordinated a lot over this past year is Jorg Heinrich. He recently played in the showcase qualifier with DNT. I know he's not on Elves. Unfortunately, I've tried to convince him to play Elves, but he's been doing real well with DNT, so I forgave him for that. But I told him that I don't believe Path to Exile is great against Elves because um, you don't really want to give them a deck that's about making mana. I think this is a mole. This is too awkward. Punished. Super punished now. Oh, this is just so painful. Alright, at least it didn't matter, I guess. At least it did not matter. I'm almost glad that I mulled there, right? Like, at least in this matchup, nah, we're just gonna concede, not reveal any information. I mean, maybe they know like when we're on already, but we're just very unlikely to win from this point. On a mode of three now, right? Essentially. Let's get these good cards in. I think this is like real iffy. I'm gonna go ahead and board out the Archon because we don't want our opponent reanimating our own Archon. So the debate is: do I want the collector Oof or do I want the Visionary? I feel like Oof is kind of whatever's in this matchup. Like if the Lotus Petal matters, then something has gone wrong, or like it's just a very weird board state. Like I've gone back and forth, and initially Jorg convinced me to play Oof, but I just think the impact is real low. Like, what does it hit besides Pedal? Which is, if it's relevant, you're either ahead or it doesn't matter. In the sense that yeah, it's kind of hard for me to explain, but it's too late when it matters. I think this against Griselbrand is like kind of weak, right? Like you don't want Griselbrand to hit the board yet. It's like good against Chancellor, but I think we can beat Chancellor. The rest is kind of whatever's, I think. It's funny that like I think we keep because off the power of Reclaimer. It is better versus the Storm versions. Uh, it is, but like, shoot. I wonder if they know what I'm on. So we have a tax that we have to pay, which means we can't land, which means we can't land the Reclaimer. So I think I just played the fetch and pass. Yeah, it's better against a Storm version of the deck, but I think you're still dead if Griselbrand hits the board for whatever it's worth. Like I think they can cobble together a win still, because you still have to deal with Griselbrand somehow. I can't believe, well, unless they know our list, that they would keep Chancellor and not board in anti leyline cards. Reanimate turn one. Jesus. Sure. Yeah, for sure. Preparing for opposite fields after drawing is a bad idea. No, for sure. Yeah. Man, I think we're probably losing this now. Like, we're gonna get double taxed here. Um, so whatever we play is not gonna survive. So I might as well just play another Arbor. We have draws that beat Chancellor, but kind of hard at the moment. Like, that is not good. I was gonna say we got pretty punished in this situation if for playing the Arbor, because Arbor is not live, right? I mean, we're probably dead anyways, but we'll see. Ah, now we have outs. Now we have outs. All right, how do I want to do this? We're gonna run this in and just not pay for it first. No. So this pays. The problem here is like, do we play around Do we play around the Gristle brand? And I think we do. I think we potentially have a kill here. I think this is a, yeah. So we, yes, made the right judgment call. We really need to not get Thoughtseize here. And I think we probably win. So we have two, three, a ton of mana. Ooh, that's real good. Now we don't have to pay the tax even. Is that just lethal? Two. Nope. So we have, let's see. This is 3, 4 mana. Both are attacking for 3 each. I think that is lethal. Actually, no, no, no. Well, actually, let's see. We have a 3 and an 8. Yeah, it should be lethal because they both get 3, and then that's 6. So that's 12 damage. Kind of nuts. I should be quicker with this math since I've played the deck a ton, but it's been a long night and my brain is like not functioning at the moment. This, and going for this is like real risky against Elves, especially with Shepherd now. I mean, we still win next turn to be fair, and this is why I don't even think we need to run a foul, right? Yeah, hoof for sure. I think we just run this back. Like we're we potentially get incentivized to build mull for leyline now, right? Because they don't even expect it because we didn't mull for game 2, so that might just win the game on the spot. Unfortunately, there's only 2 copies, right? Kind of want to run 3 now, for whatever it's worth. Although Force of Vigor was helpful earlier. I think we keep because of the Thoughtseize. I think it's a little bit. Well, actually, this is a mode of 5. Yeah, I think we can go one more since it's a mode of 5 to find the ley line. Mulligan. Because, yeah, this. Mulligan. We didn't find it, but I think we keep here. Actually, I think we board out the glimpse, actually. We take out the glimpse. Interesting play. What did they keep? So this is like the Eric Landon build, right? With Children of Corliss. So they have two reanimation spells, and then no way to pitch. Interesting. I think the card that is most scary here is the Dark Ritual. I have no idea why they kept that hand. That seems really bad. We're just gonna play out all our guys and then hope to just top deck either a Cradle or I'm leading with this to play around this card or Natural Order. Don't tell me they have the Entomb. Oh goodness. Like actually, if they had the Entomb, they could have just gone off, right? Like Entomb and then reanimate whatever. Uh oh, that's not good. I feel like our opponent kept a really, really questionable hand. Why? That's not even the right. It's not even the right creature too. We get rewarded here for their misplay if we draw into crop rotation or a Caracas. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not even the right creature like to get. You should get Gristlebrand. It buys us one turn here, the Reclaimer. Kind of an aggravating loss. Like, your opponent kept a bad hand that essentially needs a top deck and is like very vulnerable. We're probably a turn or two from winning. Maybe we keep the glimpse. That's the only thing that I would have done maybe differently. But I think glimpse is kind of bad in this kind of matchup where you can't afford to tap out. So we're on a one outer, two outer here. Nope. Well, I guess I can just like do this and kill myself. That's kind of cool. We had Caracas and crop rotation, so we had two outs. It's just kind of like annoying in the sense that our opponent, in my opinion, took some questionable lines, and more or less got rewarded. But that tends to happen a lot when you have Bristlebrand in your deck. Like, exactly, we can block children with the one drop in our hand. So we had two outs. But yeah, kind of aggravating. They're on Ant. This is kind of slow. We're on the draw. I feel like it's a mole already, and maybe it's fine with the once upon a time. I think we'll just keep it. It has acceleration. Game one is a race. So that's the other thing why I want a mole, right? Like, the, against Ant, they have discard. You can't just mold to a specific thing because they could just go turn one discard and you look silly for molding a 4 or 5. Actually, what I should have done was, but I don't care enough to at the moment, is swap to 3 ley lines. That might have helped, but hard to say. Wow, they are not respecting the crop rotation at all. I think I want the birch lore here. The birch lore is more relevant. The, uh, the reason why I'm leading with birch lore is because I don't want that discarded. It's the strongest card creature available. Not to mention the implications with Archon later in the game. I know, right? That exactly. You read my mind, Madrota. In the previous league, we lost to Reanimator and we lost to Eldrazi Post. I think I'm okay with that. I think the Reanimator could be remedied too because maybe we just want the third ley line, like just to punish these decks to draw more consistently. I don't think we want 4 because you'll inevitably draw multiple and not feel good about yourself. But I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. What I could have done was actually I like this a lot better. What I could have done was sure. They're just trying to go Hellbent, I think. But what I could have done was cast crop rotation and get more mana that way. But I think I want to lead crop rotation up. We don't want to cast crop rotation in response here because the payoff is Archon, right? They have to take Archon, in my opinion, here. Yeah. So we have a decision to make whether we want to bluff, whether we want to bluff Bog or take them down to two. Because this is actually take them down to three. And I think it's better. Um, the thing is, I don't want to lose to Pass in Flames. Or, well, they could just be forced to go for it anyways, and then. No, but the thing is, they can go for Pass in Flames, but maybe they don't have the mana. So you might be right. I think we just go for the damage here. The other thing it does is it plays around future discard. So it has to be Pass in Flames now. And maybe we just hope that they have like don't have the rituals in hand and maybe have LED mana. Then we beat yeah, I think I actually like this better. Because we have no control whether they have the Cabal ritual. Yeah. Whether they have the Cabal ritual or the LEDs. So this is kind of good. Kind of wish I had that third ley line, but can't. You know, dwell on the past. You don't want the force of vigor, in my opinion. And the reason why I'm keeping the hoof out is because an Archon's a win, anyways. I think what I've learned tonight is I was on the fence about whether I wanted the 2-1 split with force or Leyline. I think Leyline just hits way too hard, and it's a card I kind of want to see consistently against certain decks. It's the same reason why some people play 3 Plague Engineer. Excuse me, against us. They just want to see it all the time, especially against the Netto build. We can kind of play around it. We have some play around it, but the Netto build not as much. It's kind of like Thoughtseize or Bust, or Natural Order or Bust, I guess. But Natural Order, there's a good chance that they just keep the force for the Natural Order, right? Mm, I think this is a mole because we don't have any interaction. That's way better. It makes me nervous when they don't do anything turn 1 because I don't want to get blown out by a Veil Summer. Shuffle would be nice to see here, but I'm suspecting a keep. I agree. I don't mind Ant being good at all. Because it's not an all-in deck. There's a lot of counterplay on both sides. And it actually beats Delver, which I like. If you're a combo deck and you don't beat Delver, like Doomsday aside, which heavily beats every other deck, I'm not sure how serious I'm gonna take you. I don't want to disparage other combo decks that can't be Delver, but I mean our good buddy John Zhang. Well, like Delver is the benchmark for Legacy, and unless you severely beat everything else, I think it's hard to like factor that in too much. Uh, so one, two, three, four. I think we take the Wish Claw here. Yeah, that's gotta be the Wish Claw. I hope I just don't. Maybe an Inferno Tutor in hand, but I mean we can't play around that. It could be an ad nauseum, but like again, they could just Wish Claw for the ad nauseum. Uh, That's kind of what I thought would be on top. It's just that they're not ready to go. Oh my goodness. They didn't fetch? That tells me that they have another one. Well, actually, yeah, that tells me that they have another one. We're a mana off, unfortunately. We're probably dead here, based on their play pattern. I think they kept the Inferno Tutor on top, and now they're just going to try to go off here. They had two Inferno Tutor, from what I think, yeah. So this is two mana. The other one would have been three, and then they had Inferno Tutor, so they were a turn, like late a turn essentially. They needed to hit mana too to be able to go off like on the subsequent draws. But the fact that they didn't fetch told me that they had two business spells on top instead of one, which was what I thought it was gonna be. And we were kind of priced to take the Wish Claw there too because that can just find everything else. I think we're just dead here. They could be playing around Surgical. Madroth. That would be a reason. Like, good Ant players will know to play around Surgical because that's a card that is very good against them. Did they reveal? Let's see what they revealed. Sure. It's played some, less so now. Used to be played more. The list that actually won the showcase qualifier played for surgical instead of a ley line. So the thing is, surgical is better against storm than ley line, I think. But usually ley line is better everywhere else. They have their advantages and disadvantages. Did they play two Wishclaw Talisman? I'm like tempted to bring in Abrupt Decay. But that seems bad. This is very good. Keep. I mean, I've definitely done that before. Land. There's a land. Here it's beneficial for us to play the Birch Lord because we actually accelerate. Now we're just a turn away from natural order. And we have two pieces of hate there. Leyline is good for one thing, which is like, you know, nerfing Cabal rituals. If we draw a land, we're slamming natural order. Yep. There's no reason. You don't play natural order to not slam it. Yep. They know what's up. The nice thing about Leyline is it doesn't add to in the storm match. It doesn't add to storm count the way surgical does. And the other thing about Leyline, especially within the context of elves, the answers to Leyline tend to be very bad against the rest of your deck, which is why I personally like Leyline. Surgical, like what's good against it tends to be discard, which is good against the rest of your deck. So I think I like operating on an orthogonal. I know that's a math term, but like uh, getting on that, fighting on that axis because, like I said, the cards that are good against Leyline tend to not be very good against you, or the rest of the deck is what I mean. Melody 5233. We've drawn this card a lot tonight, unfortunately. Um, I think we learned. Well, this is a one drop, right? So I think it's fine. I was gonna say I think we learned from our mistake and then we'll mold his hand, but I think the fact that this is a one drop makes it a keep. This is essentially a mold of six. Like you can ignore for all intents and purposes and ignore Archon. I'm not leading with a. I don't want this to actually get dazed now. That's pretty good. So my logic is if they have removal, then it doesn't really matter. But if they don't, this lets you play around counter magic. Interesting. Birch Lord is typically very good too. What is going on in the early game? No, I think Chain and Echoing Truth is fine. But in general, like the type of answers that are like it answers oof, which is it has a use, but it can be very awkward, and the elf player can play around it. Oh, they're on that deck. All right, I botched this game. I should have played Ooze. I didn't look at what they wished for. They're on Cephalid Breakfast. Maybe it doesn't matter here. Because if they have the kill, they might have the kill right here anyways. Sure. Yep, we're just dead. We'll just concede. I assume that they don't, like, they have the kill. Well, I guess we can look what's in their deck. Like, what hate we can put. Like, if they have recruiters, we know to bring in the Cabal Pit. So I think they might just be on ban. So it seems like, yeah, the graveyard based decks are very popular today. And even yesterday, even count lands. Spell based combo seems to be on the decline. Although we played against Ant right now, but granted, Leyline is good against both. Also, one thing I want to mention, Madrotha, is Echoing Truth and Chain don't answer Archon because the correct name is Instant. As a heads up. Alright, so they have the kill now. What might happen here is they're gonna therapy me and just name whatever they're afraid of, and then Dread Return the Oracle. But I think we got enough information out of this already. They're 22 cards deep, which tells me they probably don't have the recruiter if we haven't seen it yet. Are they naming sorcery against you, Madrotha? Like game one, sure sorcery, but game two, It's got to be instant. That's the correct name. Like if you're on ant, like test is a little bit tricky because there's two names in my opinion. It's either instant or artifact, but with ant it should be pretty straightforward. I've never lost, by the way, with Archon and instant. And we had this discussion before. Said Reese, who's a mental misstep on Moto, who plays a ton of ant. He said in thousands of games he's only lost to he's only beaten Archon and instant once. I game one, yeah, you need sorcery, right? But definitely, did they even Cabal Therapies? I don't think they did. But what was I gonna do? I don't think we want Decay. It's like a really awkward card. Um, maybe we want the Cabal Pit anyways. It seems kind of slow, so maybe not. I think Archon is too slow here. They're on white too, so they have swords. Yeah, sorcery is definitely wrong in my opinion against Ant. I think instant, like I said, I played hundreds of games against Ant and have never lost with Archon and instant. Um, Against Test, I think I have only lost like once or twice with Archon out, and it's because they just happened to have like the one of whatever it was they needed. Like I named what's it called? I named artifact that just happened to have the Echoing Truth. So they have half the combo and like not much else. I think. I think we have the okay. They get forced to oof, but I think we just take the Stoneforge Mystic here. I don't think we, like they have like they have to top deck the Illusionist, which is not easy to do. Yeah, so the reason why it's almost impossible for an Ant player to beat Archon and Instant is because they can't ad nauseum. And Passive Flames, like, without rituals, not very easy to do. You need, like, the way to beat it is you need, like, triple LED or something like that. You can either natural tutor chain if they're low enough, and then, like, triple LED, or hope to Passive Flames with just LED mana and just natural tendrils them. But, I mean, like, almost impossible in my opinion. Okay, so they top decked it. Yikes. Kind of brutal. I think I'm trying to think if we should have taken the. I mean, hindsight's 2020. If we should have taken the nomads on core, but like it was kind of bad otherwise. The thing is, we did have the answer to the Stoneforge, but they can just force that, and then maybe we just lose. That was what I was concerned about. Burnt taco. Not great, but I'll keep. They're on you. Some green sun deck before. I think the morals of the story today has been. I think I probably do want that third lane line now. A lot of graveyard decks today. Could be a graveyard deck here too. That is like the most dangerous fetch land to see, in my opinion. Bloodstained Mire. It means you could be dead on turn two. We just hope that they're not a reanimator. I think they are. Nope. Never mind. Goblins, maybe? Badlands is only a few decks. It's either Reanimator, Tess. Okay, it's definitely Reanimator. Or Goblins, I guess it could be. What is going on? Oh, I know what they're on. They're on the Smog deck. That's like Jund colors. Like land grant with, but actually having lands in the deck. Yeah. This is Musa Sabi, I think, played it to a top eight kind of recently. I hadn't actually run into the deck now, so I'm kind of curious how this matchup plays out. But I would okay. Imagine that we're probably favored. Like I've been beating most of the Smog decks. I think here we attack definitely first, and then we're gonna get Archon. The question is whether do we name sorcery or instant, and I don't think they have an out to sorcery. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gotta use the restroom real quick. I think we probably want Leyline. I don't. I'm not too familiar with this list to be honest. Um, Probably Thoughtseize as well. They're like a combo deck, and then Decay is like okay, not great, but maybe we just want all the interactions we can get. Oof is not good. We just want a board for speed. Shepherd kind of bad here too. We'll just try it. So the other thing I want to mention is earlier in the previous match against, I thought about it while using the restroom. We, I think it's correct to take Stoneforge Mystic because I thought about it some more. Taking the Nomon's on court doesn't do anything because they're both the same part of the equation, right? In the A plus B combo, except that Stoneforge actually has more utility. So they still could have comboed us out with Stoneforge plus Shuko into Steph's Illusionist. So I definitely think Nomon's Encore was the wrong take. Sorry, not no. Yeah, Nomon's Encore was the wrong take. They just happened to top deck what they needed. So they have Arc. Let me reveal this. They cast Faithless Looting, discard Arclight, and Buried Alive. Yeah. So Max Gilmore, my buddy, made the joke. It's supposed to be once upon a time, not twice upon a time. The good thing is we do have the Decay, but they have two Apprentice. So they probably kept a hand because it was a quick arc light, but I don't know how relevant that is. What is going on now? So we know the last two cards in their hand. I'm not even sure we care about this card, to be honest. Like, if they smog us here, I'm not sure it matters. Sure. Like, we're not gonna lose to their aggro plan. We have natural order in our deck, or and specifically our hand. Gotta float this first, though. So they're gonna bash for 3, which is fine. I think we still know their hand. Yeah. Like, we're not under any real pressure, and natural order just wins the game on the spot. So what we can do here too is like, do we leave in Archon? Yeah, we did. We can just Archon next turn now with a right draw, and then I don't think they have an out. Their deck seems to be mostly sorcery too, based on what we've seen. What am I missing? Oh, they discarded one Wither Balloon, so that's the other one. So they're gonna play their other Witherbloom Apprentice right here, and just try to get us with the aggro plan. That is not gonna get there, in my opinion. I think we just name Smog here, or sorcery is what I mean. I don't think they have outs in these colors. Should be game, I think. Like, I guess there's 2 bolts that can win, but that's kind of whatever's. And we have the decay in hand too as a backup plan. I probably should have reclaimed away the Bayou and then fetch, or just got the Bayou, but I don't. I'm not sure it matters. So they might have a bolt in hand, what I'm gonna do here is just double block like this and see what they do. Sure. Oh, I forgot we had the Cabal Pit. That's like pretty good too. We're not gonna block. There's no reason to. We have lethal on the crackback. Sorry, I know it's getting towards the end of the night right now. Yeah, that was pretty easy. I think I'm gonna call it a night. It is already 11:30. I just want to thank everybody who tuned in for tonight. We'll see how much more, how many days in a row I'll do this, but we'll try again for tomorrow. But I think the big lesson today is probably graveyard is kind of big right now, or there's a lot of stuff going around. So maybe play a third one over the first Force of Vigor. But I think the rest of the list I was pretty happy about. We lost, we won, we lost to Delver early in the stream, but I think the list is fine against it. One of our opponents drew really hot and we punted the other match, and then the third match against Eric Landon we won. So I don't think that's an issue. But we'll see tomorrow, right? Or just whatever the next time I play is. Let's see who's streaming right now. I guess we can raid Jaina. She's streaming right now. Or if there's any requests, I can raid whoever you guys request to.